It's not something you flip on. It's already there when the day starts. This is what we're built on. Not the noise, not the moments. The brotherhood.
No place I'd rather be than here with you men.
The nod that says, I got you, when there are no words. A shared understanding of the promise made months ago. In the quiet work no one sees. In the choice to show up again.
All of us do not get out here and play scared, man. Everything we practice. So when you see it, believe it. Get in here, man. Let's go. I mean that. We always got it.
You give it all. Not for what's next, but for what is now. And what makes a competitor is you can't turn it off.
Let's go. Come on, bro. Let's go.
Hey, man, let's go.
Last week we had freezing temperatures, but this week the Bengals look to have a little fun in the sun as a trip to Miami is on deck. Welcome in to Bengals Weekly. I'm Marissa Contipelli. The Bengals get set for their final road trip of the season, and after battling the elements the last 2 weeks between the snow blizzard in Buffalo and those single-digit temps in the jungle, 70-degree weather at Hard Rock Stadium sounds pretty nice. So as we get you set for this Week 16 matchup in sunny Florida, we sit down with QB1 as Joe Burrow talks about his rehab process and his determination to get back on the field. Myles Murphy is coming off the first multi-sack game of his career, and we sit down with the edge rusher to talk all about his recent surge. We have become accustomed to listening in to those pregame speeches by our guys before they take the field on game days. And we take you inside those huddles to show you the art of the pregame speech. We'll also go into the vault all the way back to 1968 to the Bengals' first win in Miami. And on Countdown, DJ Turner has continued his stellar play at corner. And I'll tell you how many categories DJ ranks in the top 5 in across the league. But first, having a birthday on a game day in season when you're a player is a unique and rare opportunity. One where you get to celebrate your special day, not only with your teammates, but the fans too. And that's exactly what happened for Jordan Battle, as we had our cameras and mics on the sidelines, ready to capture those defensive moments in Week 15.
Listen now, we all on us now. You feel me? Trust and be aware, baby. Cause come on now. D-block on 3, 1, 2, 3.
D-block. Who they next to? We here. We know it's cold. Come support, baby. We here. We here for y'all. Y'all here for us. We're gonna do it together.
Lamar stomps the right foot a couple of times, catches a shotgun snap. It's a deep drop. Lamar throws, and it is dropped, and it is possibly picked off. The Bengals are celebrating. Yes, it's an interception. The ricochet goes to Jordan Battle, and Cincinnati gets a takeaway at the 28-yard line.
Jordan Battle had a pretty good defensive series there. He had a tackle as an unblocked defender, and that interception is huge.
Oh, yes, sir.
Third down and 16. 3 defenders playing way downfield for Cincinnati. Lamar with a deep drop. Has time to scan the field. Now begins running. Gets grabbed and sacked. Demetrius Knight sacks him at the 48 of Baltimore. Bengals get another sack as Demetrius Knight wrestles down Lamar Jackson, his second sack of the day.
That's a damn cover sack.
Hey, great job, man.
The Ravens line up in an I formation. It's a fake to the left. Jackson runs to the right and gets sacked at the 10-yard line by Demetrius Knight. Demetrius Knight gets the sack. He intercepted Lamar Jackson in the first meeting, and the tackle was made at the 9-yard line for a big loss. Third down and 7. Baltimore at its own 49, first drive of the game. Lamar with a deep drop, looking to throw. Begins scrambling and gets brought down near the line of scrimmage. Myles Murphy with the tackle. There's a loss on the play, so that'll be a sack, and the Bengals will force Baltimore to punt.
When we return, we sit down with 9 as Joe Burrow talks about his mindset and determination to recover from his Week 2 toe injury. Stay with us here on Bengals Weekly. Bengals Weekly is brought to you by Kettering Health, the official healthcare provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. Alta Fiber, the official Wi-Fi and internet provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. And Paycor, proud to be the official HR software provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. Welcome back to Bengals Weekly. Last week, the Bengals teamed up with CareSource to host a Play 60 event at the Farmer Boys and Girls Club. It was an opportunity to give back to the youth as players and students participated in football drills and spent time engaging in conversation with one another while making crafts and gifts for the holiday season. Here is this week's From the Jungle.
So we are doing the Bengals Play 60 event here, just giving the kids a chance to fraternize with some of the Bengals players.
Hello, my name is Cedric. I'm number 52. I play defensive end. The Bengals are cool. I appreciate that.
This opportunity to be able to bring it here to them where they live and they can be able to show off what they're proud of because they love their club means so much.
This the starting cone. The other yellow one, that's the ending cone. This is how we gonna go around. Watch and learn. You see who they? Cut off that, hold the ball high and tight. You see, we're gonna cut right here. Say, go, high and tight right here, high and tight.
You can always reach back and give back and make some time for the future. You know, they are the future now. It means a lot to our kids here. It's holiday season, you know, they might not be able to get much, but the smiles on their faces makes up for a lot of that.
Here you go, ma'am. Of course. Here you go, player. Yeah, there it is. There it is. It's a gift.
Can we go back to that day for you when you found out early on that it was a pretty significant injury?
Yeah, I knew it wasn't great when it happened.
Oh! And Burrow's limping badly.
Yeah, obviously was incredibly sad, disappointed, frustrated, angry.
Foot, toe area.
I don't know.
Okay.
Joe Burrow injured second quarter, left toe ruled out.
Feel sorry for yourself for a little bit, and then it's time to get back at it.
The breaking news of the morning, Joe Burrow
leaving the game in the second quarter, out for
a minimum of 3 months.
It sucks, but it's a part of football, man. He still wants it.
Joe Burrow is ahead of schedule.
It's gone as we had hoped. He's had a great energy about him.
They have opened his return for designation play window.
Given your history in Baltimore, how meaningful would it be to come back?
Very.
Joe Burrow is back.
Is that your target?
We'll see. I'm just a motivated person. It's an emotional game, and in order to continue to play well, then you have to learn how to compose yourself from lows and highs. Most of my injuries, or all of my other injuries, have been season enders, so we thought this one might be like that, but as we got going, I started feeling better and better and felt good about a return. I thought about that moment a lot through the rehab process. I was just excited to experience it. I worked hard for it. A lot of people did. Trainers, massage therapists, a lot of people worked really hard to put me in a good position to go and play well. And yeah, that was exciting.
Joe Burrow said this week when asked about should you come back, should you sit out the rest of the year, quote, "I am not going to live my life scared of something happening."
You know, I love what I do. I think long and hard about it. There were a lot of cool moments. My second touchdown pass was exciting. I kind of lost my mind a little bit.
Joe under pressure, flings it down the middle of the field. Yossi Bosch leaps at the 3 and takes it into the end zone. A 28-yard touchdown.
Then I composed myself and got back out there and kept executing.
To watch him come out here after not doing it for 2 months, what does that say about him?
That's what this guy's all about. He loves playing football. He loves competing. He was going to do everything possible to come back and play.
The locker room after wins is always what I love.
To have Joe Burrow back from everything he worked through to get back, come here on the road, short week, divisional win, lead us to victory. Where's Joe Burrow at? Game ball.
Everybody's excited. A lot of loud noises, a lot of hugging, a lot of high-fiving. Those moments are why you play. You obviously want to go out and win games. You want to be in the playoffs. You want to win games in the playoffs. But none of that matters if you're not focusing on the day-to-day and your process and how you prepare to put yourself in a good position for Sunday. Early in your career, you're motivated by what could be, things you haven't done yet. What motivates me is the love of the process, getting better every day. You have to, once you reach a certain level and a certain age, goals and aspirations and all the external things, those are secondary. I'm just motivated by loving what I do and working hard.
Coming up next, I sit down with Myles Murphy to talk all about his recent play, including his 2-sack game a week ago. Stay with us here on Bengals Weekly. Welcome back to Bengals Weekly. Myles Murphy is coming off his best game of the season after recording 2 sacks on Lamar Jackson, making it the first multi-sack game of his career. Myles is a name that has come up often in the locker room when I have asked the guys to tell me one teammate who has stepped up and grown his game. The answer has commonly been Myles. Now, earlier this week, I caught up with a third-year edge rusher. Here's our conversation.
3rd down and 7. Baltimore at its own 49, first drive of the game.
I want to be one of those guys that an offensive coordinator has to prepare around. That's the type of person that I want to be. I think I had like a 3-man surface, tight end to me. They slid away from me. I was one-on-one with the tight end. Once I noticed it was pass and I just had a one-on-one with him. Our rule in the DM room is if you're one-on-one with the tight end, you got to win your one. So that was really just doing my job, really.
And scrambling and gets brought down. Myles Murphy with the tackle, and the Bengals will force Baltimore to punt. 1st and 10 at the Cincinnati 40. Lamar with a deep drop, under pressure, and sacked at the 46-yard line.
Same rule, one-on-one with the tight end, you got to win your ones. Ball snap, we made contact, and I'm hesitating for a second because I'm thinking he's going to release, but once he stayed in front of me, I tried to win as quick as possible with Lamar being our quarterback. You know he's going to go through his progressions, and he has happy feet, and you don't want him to get happy feet back there. So you got to win your ones as quick as possible and contain the quarterback, and then again, just me trying to do my job. Really just trying to create momentum for the team, honestly. Just create momentum for the defense, just get the defense started, get us hot, and just, create momentum for the offense. Anything we can do to just get our offense the ball, that's what we're up for. It was probably like one of the longest nights ever, honestly, because I was sitting there waiting for a long time, and it was nervous, all the emotions, but all in all, it was a fun night because I had over 100 friends and family, people that just came we rented out a club and had a whole bunch of friends and family come in, had food, music. It was a fun night, regardless.
The Cincinnati Bengals select
My first 2 years here weren't weren't the best. My first year, of course, I was just a rookie. Last year, started off with an injury and didn't pan out too well. Just the resiliency, determination, just the push through to cut out all the outside noise and just continue to take those steps forward and become a better player and work in the offseason. I made a lot of changes this season, whether it be on the field and off the field. So I think that I've grown a lot as a player and as a person. Didn't like the way my body felt last season, especially coming off of the injury. I think before the injury, I was moving pretty well at around 275, but once I got hurt, I was kind of not able to do much for a few weeks, and came back, I was still sitting at around like 282 pounds. It was just a lot of weight. I played at 282 in college, but being in this league with the best of the best, it was just a little too much weight to carry around. And once I got into the off season, I talked to nutritionists, just got different nuggets of advice and kind of just implemented it into my own diet and kind of just switched it around to different foods that I like and kind of just let the rest work. It was a leap of faith because it was most definitely like a last hope kind of switch up. That's what it felt like going into this past off season, and I was really just like, I'm gonna literally switch everything up. I'm not gonna leave anything up for chance, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. But I think it was 2 days after the Browns game last year, I switched everything. Switched out my diet, switched out my sleep routine, switched out my workout routine, literally everything. And I created a schedule from January all the way up to maybe August. Everything was planned out, meals, everything was planned out, and body transformed, mindset transformed. Spiritually, I was just closer, just felt better. So everything just felt better once I just switched everything up. With this being the outcome, it is like a big reassurance. Like it is working. And staying the course, staying on your path is something that it was a good move, honestly. So I'm going to continue to do that.
Goff scrambling and sacked. Nice. Brought down by Myles Murphy.
Run your own race. Don't look at other people's success, because like I say, the number one thief of joy is comparison. And I feel like that's what I was doing a little bit, and just comparing my path to other people's path, and that was kind of hindering me a little bit. But once I actually put those blinders on and just worked on myself and bettering myself each and every day, just become a better version of myself from yesterday, I feel like that's when I was making the most steps forward, honestly. I want to be known as like a tone setter for what he does on the field, how he affects the offense, and how he is always in the backfield. That's what I want to be remembered as.
Stay with us here on Bengals Weekly, because when we return, we take you inside those pregame huddles and tell you what they mean to all of those who are involved. Welcome back to Bengals Weekly. The pregame speech. It's an art form unlike any other. The perfect mix of hype and emotion, long enough to get your point across, but concise to fit into a short window of time. Both Ted Karras and Orlando Brown Jr. have become known on this team for the way that they craft their pregame speeches.
Hey, lights are on, fellas! You ready?
There's guys on this team who you should want to run through a wall for.
Let's do this! 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3!
Football is an emotional sport.
Hey, the baddest in the world today!
You know, it gives a sense of camaraderie.
It has to be an organic part of who you are as a football player, as a businessman, and as a teammate.
Sunday night, Big Apple, we take it tonight! 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3!
Who wouldn't want to go play for this guy?
The most vocal leaders that we probably have is one, Orlando Brown.
Let's go, man!
Growing up around the game, knowing how my dad was, he was very much of a vocal leader. He had a really good relationship with Ray Lewis, and so there would be times that guys like Ray Lewis or Ed Reed would spend time at the house, and I would hear them talking football. You know, something that always stuck with me was Ray Lewis talked about a great leader is able to relay and attack all senses, whether that be touch, hearing, smelling. For me, that was just kind of how I always took it. Something I do before games, every game, man. I touch everybody that comes in that locker room before we take the field, and that's always been important to me, you know, as well as being the guy that gives the speeches before we take the field.
Let him feel us, man. You already know. Let's go, man. Let's
go. Be in the moment, man. Not the past play, not the next play, this play. Be in the moment. Let's go. Dominate on 3. 1, 2, 3. Dominate!
I'm going to want to run through a wall for Ted in Orlando before they give me that pregame speech because I know how long they've been doing it. I know how much I love the game of football.
Show these guys what a man plays like with his back against the wall and nothing to lose. Win on 3. 1, 2, 3. Win.
Vocal leadership comes from showing what you bring every single day.
It starts with us, it ends with us, let's win! Yep. Trenches on 3, 1, 2, 3, trench! Sure.
Pregame speech helps now, don't get me wrong. I'll run through like 2 walls on pregame for them, but I'm already gonna run through one of them for sure, just because like I know what kind of guys they are, you know what I'm saying? I know what kind of guys I'm going to war with.
Ted is one character, he's a great guy. Him and Orlando Brown, they always bring the offense together.
The speech to me is a culmination of what we've done.
Not much to be said, fellas. 2023 campaign is at stake.
And maybe a quick reminder of who we are and who we're going against.
Let's show them who the we are. Merry Christmas, Bengals. Love you guys.
It doesn't have to, be the Gettysburg Address. We're going out there to play a football game. Everyone knows what we're about to do. So hope you guys are ready to go, because I am.
1 on 3. 1, 2, 3. We do it from now on. Shapes our destiny this year.
Greatness, man. Greatness. Let's go, man. Greatness.
Let's start with the win. Trenches on 3. 1, 2, 3. Trench.
I'm very honored to be considered a leader of this team. I think we have amazing men in that locker room. We have a ton of guys that can get up there and talk, and it would hold weight because of how they carry themselves each and every day.
Up next, we turn the clock back nearly 60 years ago when the Bengals made their first ever trip to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Welcome back to Bengals Weekly. It was 1968, the Bengals' first year in the National Football League, as they were preparing for their first trip to Miami and looking to avenge a Week 7 loss earlier in that season to the Dolphins. And the Bengals, well, they wasted no time making their presence felt on offense. We now head into the vaults.
Week 10 of their inaugural season in 1968 saw the Bengals travel to Miami for the first time ever in their second matchup against the Dolphins that season, and they delivered with their most explosive offensive performance to date. A major contributor was rookie running back Paul Robinson, who would be named after the season as a first-team All-Pro for the American Football League. Robinson rushed for 134 yards and 3 touchdowns on 22 carries, including a 54-yard run that gave the Bengals a 17-7 lead in the second quarter. Both quarterbacks, Sam Weish and John Stouffer, played, and they combined for more than 200 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Weish connected with tight end Bob Trumpy on an 80-yard pass in the second quarter, while Stouffer later found running back Warren McVay for a 42-yard touchdown connection. The Bengals scored 3 times in the fourth quarter and finished the game with more than 400 total yards of offense and 5 touchdowns in securing their first win ever in Miami.
Now, we already heard from Myles Murphy, the Bengals' first-round draft pick in 2023. But he is just one member of that class who has made strides and impact on the field for Cincinnati. For more on the third-year players, let's now send it over to Dan, Dave, and Jeff for this week's Who Dey Conversations.
The lifeblood of building any NFL roster is the draft. And in this Who Dey Conversation, we are going to shine a spotlight on the class of 2023. Lap, you're up first.
2023 was a very good year. There's no question about it. And one guy that they drafted in the secondary, DJ Turner, has turned out to be, no pun intended, a very, very good draft pick This guy, the Bengals have had a myriad of good cornerbacks. Lamar Parrish, Kenny Riley, Bernard Jackson on the inside, Tommy Casanova, another safety on the inside. I mean, the list goes on and on. They've really done a good job drafting at that position in the back end. They have taken the defensive backfield position and made the draft the lifeblood to feed that position well. They've had good coaches on the back end as well, and that's been a big factor. DJ Turner has taken coaching very, very well, and he's making plays. I mean, he is a big-time playmaker for this football team. Interceptions, passes broken up, passes batted down, so nobody can make a play on it. If you can't make the play, don't let anybody make the play, as Paul Brown used to say regularly. I think that one of the best things that he does, if not the best thing though, is tackling. I mean, he gets people on the ground. Very physical, very aggressive. He'll go and put that shoulder across the bow, helmet across the bow, shoulder into the lower body of the running back or wide receiver, and just roll him to the ground, take him right down.
All right, so lap starts with DJ Turner. How about you, Butch?
I'm going to go right to the top. I'm going to go with Myles Murphy. The promising young edge player is starting to put those numbers up in the last month. Since the Pittsburgh game, he has had at least 5 pressures in 3 of the last 5. Had 5 pressures last Sunday against Baltimore, had his first 2-sack career game. And this is a guy he's just beginning to play. I mean, he sat behind Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson for the first 2 years of his career. Played just over 300 snaps in 23 and 24, which he began on injured reserve. Real costly injury for him when he banged up his knee. Missed most of training camp, didn't get back until October. He's taken the bull by the horns. He's setting the edge in the run. See, the thing with Murphy, guys, is he has played half of his career snaps in just this season alone. So he had only played, about 300 snaps in 23 and 24. Now he's played almost 600. So I think the extra time in the field has really worked to his advantage.
All right, those 2 guys were the first 2 picks selected in 2023. I am going to the 5th round, where the Bengals selected the 10th running back selected in that draft, and he's turned out to be one of the best. I still can't figure out why Chase Brown was still available with pick number 163 overall. After running for more than 1,600 yards in his final year at Illinois, Chase ran a 4.4 in the 40-yard dash at the Combine and had the best vertical jump of any running back in his class at 40 inches. But forget about the measurables. No player at any position in the class of 2023 has a better work ethic than Chase Brown. He spent the last 2 off seasons training with a wide receivers coach to become a better receiver out of the backfield, and Chase has become one of the best all-around running backs in the NFL. DJ Turner, Myles Murphy, Chase Brown. And we haven't even mentioned Jordan Battle and Andre Yosivach, who are doing okay as well. It's a really good draft class, and we've given you evidence for why the class of 2023 has been a big success for the Bengals in this Who Dey conversation.
Up next, we step into the locker room and hear from the players as they prepare to take on the Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium on Sunday. Welcome back to Bengals Weekly. Sunday's tilt in Miami will mark the 27th meeting all-time between the Bengals and the Dolphins, as Cincinnati takes aim at their first win in Miami since 2007. Cincinnati Magazine's Robert Weintraub now joins Dan Hoard to give us his take on this Week 16 matchup.
Joe Burrow is not happy with his own play last week, but I'd have to say overall, his first 3 games back have been pretty remarkable. What's impressed you most about his comeback after missing 2.5 months?
Yeah, well, just that really. It's the fact that he's came back at all, and came back for the most part as the same old Joe Burrow.
He's got a great feel in the pocket. Looking down the field, he goes to his right, keeps the eyes up, and makes a great throw. And one of the concerns was moving to the right with the injury to the left toe was a question. Looked pretty good right there.
Joe Burrow is operating at a very, very high level of efficiency physically.
Deep down the field for Jamar Chase. What a catch!
Welcome back, brother.
Welcome back.
We've talked about it before. I've always called him Atlas. He has the weight of the franchise and in a lot of ways the city on his shoulders. In this case, it might be important for him to play out and show he's still the same old Joe Burrow and, win games. There's not generally a connection between winning games at the end of a season and how you do the following season. But I think internally there's definitely a need to cleanse the palate, if you will, a little bit, and to come out victorious and show that this was just a little hiccup and he'll be the same old Joe Burrow going into next season.
Should we be encouraged by the play of the offensive line?
They've played well. Anytime you start a rookie at one of the 5 positions and he not only keeps his head above water, but actually plays well in Dylan Fairchild at left guard, that's a success story. Amarius Mims taking the next step forward, playing well, and was a huge success story in his development. I think they've stabilized that unit, at least for the time being. I think they feel comfortable going into at least 2026 that they're in decent shape on the offensive line.
Robert, the defense has gotten somewhat better. How much and in what areas?
DJ Turner has really played great all season. And you've seen guys like Demetrius Knight, who I think had his best game as a pro thus far against Baltimore. Myles Murphy's had a nice little month-long stretch now of play. And it's important to see progress in especially young guys when you have so many young players on the side of the ball. It's difficult because you're asking them all to sort of come of age together. The more individual success stories you can have, that only can give you something to build off of for the rest of the season and then going into 2026.
Up next, the 6-8 Dolphins, and as we have this conversation, they might be making a change at quarterback. Tua Tagovailoa performed poorly on Monday night in a loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. What are some keys to coming away with a win this Sunday in Miami?
Yeah, as you mentioned, it looks like Quinn Ewers, the rookie, will get the start. Doesn't have much pedigree, wasn't a high draft pick, had kind of a middling college career, but at one point he was the number 1 overall recruit coming out of high school. He's got a lot of physical talent. Miami's running game, which has been solid this season, top 6 in terms of efficiency overall, despite Monday night's game. At the same time, not want to give Ewers any opportunity to beat them downfield, and they'll feel more comfortable about devoting more players into the box and shutting down that Miami running game. If you can do that, you go a long way toward beating them. In the NFL, teams that put on a performance like the Bengals did last week tend to erase that the following week. These are all professionals, and I think the Bengals will be certainly looking to be doing that and show that's not who they really are on Sunday against Miami.
Robert, appreciate your time as always. Happy holidays, and go Bengals in the final 3 games of the year.
With 3 games to go in the 2025 season, the Bengals remained focused on winning and playing sound football from here on out, going to battle alongside their teammates with one goal in mind: finishing the season on a strong note.
Anytime you get the opportunity to strap up the pads and put the cleats on and go in the front of the world and prove your worth, prove all the hard work that you've put in, prove that you're improving week to week, that's what we're all trying to do. We're trying to get better and better ourselves.
We have a big week and a big game against the Miami Dolphins. We all know that we're both out of playoff contention, but there's a lot to play for. I know this is the mindset of the team, is we get to be Cincinnati Bengals, we get to wear the stripes, we get to go represent the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday. Anytime I'm putting on the stripes, I don't care if playoffs are on the line or not. I'm going out there, I have so much to play for.
Kind of just stay together and finish the season off strong. This week just really just get back to us, beat our identity, and go out there and win. That's the main thing. You want to go out there and win and finish the season off strong.
That's our only focus right now, is finding a way to go down to Miami, win the game, get on the bus and the plane with a smile on our face. They've got a really good offense. I think that Mike does a great job with the scheme. I don't want to call it unique because we've seen it over the years with him at different places, but he does a really good job being creative and stressing you in different ways, maybe that some other teams don't in the run game, and not afraid to be very creative with how he does it. And so got a lot of respect for Mike McDaniel and the job he does. And it's a very difficult offense, regardless of who the quarterback is. They put a lot of stress on you in the run game. They do a great job getting guys open with a lot of speed in the pass game that can finish on explosive plays. And so it's a very challenging group to go against.
Obviously we know they pride themselves on running the ball, and we have to make it one-dimensional. We got to stop the run.
Get their main guys going, they kind of get Waddle, get the catch and runs and things like that. Let A-Chain do his things, get guys screens, get guys going lateral, things like that. So they want to get the ball to their playmakers, and that's a good thing they've been doing, and especially the run game, they've been working for them really well this year. I see them, they probably, lean on the run at first, with a rookie quarterback, and then if it's time to take shots, they're going to probably take shots at 17.
Obviously with the circumstances, with Tua being benched and young quarterback coming in, he's got to be able to stick to, our ball, play our ball, go out there, dominate in fashion, go out there and get a good win.
They fly around, man. These guys have a high motor. These guys love to play football. They're flying around. They're making plays. They got some dudes across the whole defensive front, the front seven, and in the secondary. We got to go in there and execute like the Bengals want to.
They like to use Minka kind of like the Ravens use Kyle Hamilton, but you always got to be aware of where he's at. I think their front is very disruptive, explosive. They play well together. So just like every week, it's going to be a challenge.
There's a lot to play for on Sunday. I'm excited to go play the Miami Dolphins. We're going to be ready to go.
When we return, it's time for Contipelli's Countdown, where I'll tell you how far Chase Brown is from reaching a new single-season career high. Welcome back to Bengals Weekly. You know him as DJ, but Juan Drago Turner II is a name we need to talk more about. Not only because the corner has been turning heads in the Bengals secondary, showing off his elite coverage and shutdown ability. But come on, Juan Drago is one of the coolest names, and yes, that is DJ's real given birth name. So as Juan Drago continues to show off his consistency week in and week out, he is placing his stamp on the NFL and is proving that he belongs in the conversation as one of the league's top young corners. DJ Turner continues to lead the league with 17 passes defensed, a new career high for the corner, and the most by a Bengal since 2009. Turner has at least one PD in 3 of his last 4 games, and when you look at his numbers among all corners who have played at least 80% of snaps this season, DJ ranks first with 15 forced incompletions, 13 pass breakups, a 76.3 coverage grade, and the fewest targets of 54, as his 50% receiving allowed is the second best in the league. Well, Chase Brown has exceeded the 1,000-yard scrimmage mark for a second consecutive season and is on pace to surpass his career-high 1,350 that he set last year. Brown has logged 812 scrimmage yards since Week 7, which is 8th most across the league. Chase leads the Bengals with 780 rushing yards on the season, as the third-year running back has at least 4 rushing yards per attempt in 4 of his last 5 games. And Jamar Chase continues to show why he is one of one. Uno is one of 2 players in the NFL who has posted at least 1,100 receiving yards in each of the last 3 seasons. Chase is 4 catches away from 500 for his career and needs 172 receiving yards over the final 3 games to pass Randy Moss for 3rd most in a player's first 5 seasons in the league. Jamar has also recorded 25 games of 100 or more receiving yards. That's 3rd most in Bengals history by a player under the age of 26. 6 of those games have come this season, which is tied with AJ Green for the most such games in a season in team history. And as for the big men up front, the Bengals O-line has been stout. Over the last 4 games, the unit has allowed just 1 sack, as the Bengals are one of 2 teams with 5 starting offensive linemen with a minimum of 350 snaps to hold a 64 pass blocking PFF grade or better, as Amarius Mims, Dylan Fairchild, and Orlando Brown Jr. have all logged better than an 80 grade since Week 13. The Bengals' 90.6 pass blocking efficiency rating is 4th best in the NFL since Week 12, as their 31 pressures allowed in that time span are 4th fewest in the NFL. And speaking of that O-line, Ted Karras is our Walter Payton Man of the Year Club winner. And you can vote for Ted in the Walter Payton Man of the Year Charity Challenge to help the Cincy Hat Foundation receive an additional $35,000, courtesy of Nationwide. Ted was the Bengals nominee in 2023 and Charity Challenge winner that season. To date, over 100,000 Cincy hats have been sold, generating over $3.3 million in revenue. Fans can vote for Ted until January 5th by visiting NFL.com/honors/Man of the Year. Or you can vote on X by using hashtag WPMOY Challenge plus Ted Karras. The Bengals have teamed up with CareSource to make the next generation of youth the most active and healthy yet. Earlier this year, Dejon Anthony, Kendall Milton, and Howard Cross all visited the Gamble Nippert YMCA with Houday and the Bengals to encourage students to form healthy habits and get 60 minutes of activity each day. Students participated in football-specific stations, including the 40-yard dash, vertical jump, broad jump, football toss, and agility circuits, each led by a Bengals player. To learn more, visit Bengals.com/community. When we return, it's time for Social Spotlight. And as the holidays are in the air, our guys are out in the community, spreading holiday cheer to those in need. It's now time for our weekly Social Spotlight segment, and I feel like it's been a few weeks since we have had a post by Chad Johnson, so let's kick it off with Ocho, the simple yet powerful GOAT emoji, as Jamar Chase joined Randy Moss as the only players in NFL history with over 6,500 receiving yards and 50 or more touchdowns in their first 5 seasons.
I'm about to go crazy. One against 5? Oh, thank you. I'm just playing. Y'all relax.
Well, you have to love this throwback that NFL Films posted earlier this week. BJ Hill on the mic against the Colts, and all he wanted to do was just get through to the quarterback, but instead he was hit with a triple team, kind of a 5v1 situation. I don't know, just let the man go crazy, will ya? Well, we are in full swing for the holiday season as T. Higgins teamed up with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Cincinnati to provide over 100 bikes to kids. And Santa Claus, Reagan, I like the nice little holiday pun there.
Who was the top artist on Spotify? Apple Music, and it was Gunna.
My top artist, my top artist was Young Thug. My top song was Golden, K-pop Demon Hunter. So.
Young boy, you need to talk to him.
7,000 minutes. 7,000
minutes. It's not beneficial.
I was Friday.
Baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
I say Gunna or Drake.
I actually have a take on this.
Burn him.
I will not check. And if you're posting it, you're crazy. If I see someone's, I'm scrolling. And you might get muted.
And don't let Charlie Jones see your Spotify Wrapped. You might get muted, and he does not hold back. This was a fun little social video by our team. And if you want more Bengals content, make sure you are following along with us on our social channels. All you have to do is search @Bengals and give us a follow. The Bengals and Dolphins kick off Sunday just after 1 p.m. Eastern. And you can catch all the action on your local CBS station. You can also check out one of the streaming options, including Paramount Plus in market, NFL Plus on mobile, NFL Sunday Ticket out of market, and NFL Game Pass internationally. And as always, you can listen in to Dan Horde and Dave Lapham on the Bengals Radio Network. Thanks for tuning in to Bengals Weekly. Kickoff between the Bengals and the Dolphins is coming up. For Dan Horde, Dave Lapham, Jeff Hobson, and our entire crew, I'm Marissa Contipelli. We'll see you next week. Bengals Weekly was brought to you by Paycor, proud to be the official HR software provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. AltaFiber, the official Wi-Fi and internet provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. Your local Kia dealers. Visit kia.com to discover movement that inspires. And Kettering Health, the official healthcare provider of the Cincinnati Bengals.